All right.
Yay!
Good morning.
All right.
We just made it out of some technical difficulties. It might be the weather over here. But anyway, we're going to go forward and pray everything goes well. All right. I'm Victor.
And I am Mia, and welcome to the Business Heroes podcast, where we highlight entrepreneurs who are seeking purpose, profit, and passion so that they can change the world for good. And Victor, I am so excited about who we have coming on here today,
Me
okay?
too.
Listen, I was thinking about this as I was thinking about the person that we're going to be talking about. Okay, so listen, while we do our little intros, if you're watching this now, we need you to go find like 5 friends and get them on here, okay? Because this show is going to be amazing, especially for those of you who want to better understand how to improve your credit, how to have better outcomes. You got to get those people. But back to what I was going to say. Listen, I remember growing up and thinking there are no such thing as Black people that are wealthy.
Hmm.
Yes,
Wow. That's serious.
yes, I did. In fact, the only time I thought that Black people could be wealthy is if they were rappers, singers, or actors
Or drug dealers.
or drug dealers. Yes, actually, that's also
That's the
true.
stigma that's been put out there for years.
But I am so glad to know that that is not true. There are lots of people who are people of color that are doing extremely well, that have their own businesses, that are highly educated, and even better, they are down to earth and cool. Okay.
Yes.
And when I'm saying all this, it makes me think about our guest that we're going to have on today. Okay. And so, for any of you who may have been believing the lie that there are not educated, wealthy entrepreneurs, business owners who are out there making a huge impact for good.
As African Americans.
Yes, we have somebody on today, and I hope I'm not embarrassing our person because he is amazing and you're going to learn a lot from him. And one of the things that I appreciate about our guests today is that they're approachable and they're down to earth. And they're a regular person just like you or me, but they are doing really, really well. And so I can't wait to get them on. But listen, Victor, I want to share our word for the day, but I don't
All
know if
right.
there was something you wanted to
No, you
cover.
jump into it.
Okay, so you saw the show title, right? We're talking about credit. Is it credit cards? Is it a tool? Is it advice? How many of you have taken financial peace and you came to think that, credit cards are the devil,
Have
right?
mercy.
Yes. Well, I was thinking about this. Okay, so this is our word for the day. For those of you who watch us, we have a word for the day, or we try to. Okay, and so the word for the day is purpose. All
Mm.
right, now we're talking about credit cards. Okay, and so listen, we're not only talking about credit cards, but this is part of the show. So look, it says purpose is the reason for which something is done, the reason for which something is done or
Mm.
created, or why does it exist? So, what is the purpose? So, today, as you think about our show, keep that in your mind. Purpose, purpose. Now, if you were going to think about purpose as a verb, then you're thinking, what is the intent? What is the intention? What are your intentions? And I feel like that the reason I picked that word today was because I was like, man, we highlight wealth, and people are like, oh, that's not for Christians. You're going to be lost. But it's about your intention,
It is.
right? It's about your purpose for which you're going to use it. And then, I mean, I don't want to be a spoiler, but I'll just stop right there when it comes to credit cards because Varney, he's the expert on this. And so
Yes, he
I've said his
is.
name. Listen, we've got to bring him on here today. You're going to enjoy the show. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, and I just want to share a little bit about Varney before we bring him on. And so, Varney Jallah is the founder and CEO of Total Structured Solutions.
Nice.
He received his BS from William Paterson University in Business Administration with an emphasis on professional sales.
All right.
After spending a decade in the financial industry, Varney decided to resign from his corporate job and leave the Wall Street stock market behind him.
I beg your pardon. What? All right.
Hey, Varney had a burning desire to educate people on
Mm.
financial awareness. He knew the best way to spread his knowledge was by going into business for himself, hence the creation of Total Structured Solutions. Varney has created a unique program that allows him to tailor a financial plan for each of his clients in a means to structure their finances to ultimately accomplish their individual goals. His impeccable business acumen, along with his years of experience in building relationships, has only resulted in his company's rapid success. Outside of business, Varney is an active volunteer in his community and an enthusiastic Cowboys fan.
All right.
In his free time, he enjoys golfing and spending time with his lovely wife and children.
Yes.
And so there we have Varney. Let's bring him on. Varney, thank you. You know what? I should have added, and I'll add this now. Varney has personally helped us in building our credit.
Absolutely.
Now, we didn't necessarily need credit repair. It wasn't shot in the foot, but he helped us to optimize. And I wish I had the slides just showing like we were in at least for mine.
You can put it in the captions though, but tell it.
I don't remember the exact numbers. I just know we were in like the mid to upper 600s. Mm-hmm. And just in a matter of months, we were in like the low to mid 700s.
Come on, somebody.
And so, I mean, and
this going up and up.
This was by using credit cards.
Yep.
We were shocked. We were not ready. We were told credit cards were the devil. So, but learning how to use them responsibly, the way Varney has showed us has definitely been beneficial. So, Varney, again, thank you for being here today.
Yes.
And talk to us, man.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me, Victor and Mia. It's truly an honor. I've known you guys, I think, going on 2 years, right?
Man, it's getting close. It's getting close.
So I met you guys, through a mutual friend. Yes. And from there, I've been working with you guys. You guys been phenomenal, and by hands down, been one of my best clients that came in the program and just follow the instructions. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. And every month, when we have our discussions, you guys will simply complete your tasks, and that's the reason why you guys were able to see the results. And I'm pretty sure you guys definitely learned a lot from it, from the program on the right way to use credit cards, how to use it the right way to make sure that you're not paying any interest. Yes. And I feel as though that's something out there that's not being taught. And that's the reason why a lot of people are simply saying, no, I don't want to use it. I don't want to pay the 28%. But, based off the information that you guys learned in my program, you guys know how to pretty much leverage your revolving credit cards to increase your scores, and also use it the correct way and not have to worry about paying any interest at all.
Absolutely. Right. And I really love that. And honestly, for those of you who are looking on and you're like me, you like to shop, you're the spender in your relationship or in your family. Varney was even able to help me not only to get a credit card, but to increase my limit significantly. Yep. Okay. And so that's huge for somebody like myself that loves to go here, there, and everywhere. To be able to, and I had a lower credit score than Victor. And so mine has improved so much more since we've been working with you. And so
she has not been using it to shop. Not using that card. No.
Yeah.
I'm with wisdom and discretion. So that's really awesome. So Varney, okay, so I know you've got some juicy stuff for us, for our viewers today, and I'm so excited about what you have to share. But like we were saying, man, you're highly accomplished. You and your wife are highly accomplished individuals, and yet you're so approachable. You're doing amazing things. And we just want to know, like, how did you transition? Like, what made you say, well, first of all, how did you get into corporate? Okay. And then tell us, like, once you were there, because that's like the pinnacle. I feel like a lot of people are like, if I could just get there, you know what I'm saying? So you got there, and what made you say, I got to get out? So tell us the story.
Okay. Before we get into the story, I just want to give a big shout out to my amazing wife, man. She just got promoted to lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. Wow. Which is, a huge milestone. Wow. And she was actually able to come back to her alma mater. Wow. And now she's the professor of military science over there. Wow. So it's kind of like a full circle for her. That's where she started her ROTC career. Starting there, she went on a full ROTC scholarship. She commissioned from there, and now to be able to come back and simply run that entire program is truly amazing. And I'm extremely proud of her. Black girl magic, black girl.
Yes,
so I just want to give my beautiful wife a huge shout out before we even get into my story.
All right, Black Love Matters.
Yeah. So, but as far as my story, based off my bio, so I spent a decade in the financial industry at one of the top financial firms. So simply coming in right out of college and being with a company like that, I learned a lot from it. And even some of the practices that I have in my business with my team and the structuring of my business and my day-to-day operations, simply I learned that from corporate. So those one of the things that I am truly grateful for, just based off my experience, the relationships that I built while I was there, and I'm still I still have these relationships. I still, every time I'm back in New Jersey, I usually link up with these individuals, or if I'm in different states, they still reach out to me like, "Hey, what's going on?" So I'm extremely grateful for that piece of it. But as far as my business, the transition was actually a blessing. So let's just backtrack. So while I was at corporate, I was simply helping individuals, family, and friends fixing their credit, and it was just one of those things that I learned when I was in corporate. And so it just came natural to me. So people will come up to me like, "Hey, I have this. Can you help me out with this?" So I was just simply helping them fix their credit for free on the side. Like, when I get off of work, they'll call me up, and it was even a couple of people at work that will come up to me like, "Hey, I'm having problems with this." So I was like doing consultations at work in my conference during my lunch breaks. I would go in the conference room, call them up like, "Hey, let's do that." Or even some people at work that didn't understand it in different departments, they'll come. We'll have one-on-ones. I'll say, "Hey, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, pay this credit card balance down. Let's go ahead and do this." I'll send out the dispute letters for them. But once I transitioned out of it, it was definitely a blessing, because the reason for me transitioning out of it, because my wife is military. So our first military move, we had to move to Texas, right? And then from there, corporate was like, "Well, you have to be somewhere within a certain miles for you to be able to work from home." So at that point, it was like, okay, am I going to have my family in Texas and me in New Jersey? So at that point, I decided hey, it's best that, I'm going to resign. And that's when I went ahead and created Total Structure Solutions to make it a one-stop shop where individuals can fix their credit. And then from there, I had my real estate license at the time. And I was actually using the credit side of it, because a lot of realtors don't want to work with individuals that has bad credit. So I would work with those clients. I'll say, "Hey, your credit's not good. Work with me for a couple of months. Let's fix your credit. Then from there, we'll get you pre-approved. Once you pre-approve, and I can be able to sell you the home." So that's how I was able to generate my business on the real estate side, on the real estate side from there. But then from there, we end up moving to Illinois. And moving to Illinois, and man, God is truly great, man. During that process, my business simply like quadrupled.
Come on.
Yeah, quadruple, man. And this was like matter of fact, during the pandemic. And I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this with you guys. I don't think I ever shared this information, but right before the pandemic, man, I was actually thinking like, man, I have to figure this thing out. I have to figure this thing out. I even started looking into different jobs in Chicago for me to interview to go back to work. As a man, think if things not working out, you have to figure it out. So I started interviewing.
So things had gotten a little shady. Then you're saying like you had a great success, and then it got a little things kind of. What happened there? Do you mind trying to say?
Yeah. So once you move, once we move from Texas to Illinois, right? Now I'm no longer doing real estate. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So things were great when I was in Texas, because I was doing real estate. Hey, let me fix your credit, get you the real estate deal. Then once we transition, and that's one of the things with the military. Every few years we have to move. So now you move to a different state. Now you have to start planting those seeds again, building relationships, and so on and so forth. Now I have to get my real estate license in Illinois. And I'm just like, man, okay. So now excuse me. So now I'm interviewing for different positions, and they're coming back. "Oh, well, you're we don't have this position is not gonna be available at a certain time. Hey, you overqualified." And I can share this with you guys because you guys are Christians, right? So I went ahead and I planted a seed. I paid my, that's something I'm real big on. I paid my tithes, right? So I went ahead and planted my seed, and I overpaid. And I was just looking at it like, man, you know, God, I'm trusting you with this seed, right? I'm trusting you with the seed. I planted that seed, and I want to say that was probably in December. So right before COVID. I think COVID was like November, somewhere around there. So I planted that seed going into the new year. And, you know, then January, the new year comes around, everybody's home, locked down. And now I'm pumping my videos out. On, you know, everybody's home. So I'm doing my credit tips. And my business just picked up. Everybody's hitting me up. Hey, I need to fix my credit. Hey, I need to fix my credit. Hey, I need to fix my credit. And at that time, you know, a lot of money is coming in too for individuals, you know, with the stimulus relief. So everybody is home. So that right there definitely helped me pivot in my company, where I was able to build it a whole lot faster, where I was able to hire staff, you know, improve my back office, my processings, bring in customer service rep. And then from there, I was able to connect with different realtors. So at that point, I was like, simply, you know what, the credit repair is sticking up. Let me just focus on that side of it. Right. So let me focus on that side of it. And so I simply just went ahead and left the real estate side, because at that point I was studying to get my real estate license. I left it alone, and I simply just focused strictly on the credit repair side. Because again, I have all these clients coming in. I have to make sure nothing's falling through the cracks. So that right there is my testimony from how my business has quadrupled since simply. I don't want to say, hey, since it's due to COVID, it's simply based off of the seed that I planted.
Yes.
It's simply based off of that seed that I planted. And now where I'm at in my position is actually great. I was able to add on, you know, business credit now. I was able to add on business funding. I was able to add on, you know, I have the academy now. So now based off of that, I was definitely able to grow my business. And it was actually great. I'm pretty sure we're going to get into the mental health, all that piece of it later on down the line. But that right there is just simply my story. And that's just simply where I'm at now with everything.
You know, something, just rewinding just a little bit. You said something that struck me. You were willing, when you were in Texas, to serve the underserved.
Yes, come on.
You were willing to deal with the people that nobody else wanted to deal with. Oh, you got bad credit? No, we ain't. Yeah, but the fact that you were willing to serve the underserved, that helped to boost your business there in Texas.
Wow.
So, you know, I mean, to me, that's a point of heroic proportions. You know, we didn't even know that story.
Business hero.
And I mean, that's just like Jesus. I mean, I'm not trying to preach or nothing, but I mean, that's what Jesus did, didn't he? You know, he took the people that, you know, nobody else wanted to deal with, or the sinners and publicans and all that.
Come on, Victor. Yes.
You know, but so to see that implemented in your own business, whether you thought of it consciously or not, you know, I also believe that was part of the blessing, even when you moved to Chicago. You know, God saw what you did back then. And I mean, you know, we don't, you know, it's not by works, but your heart, because of where your heart was, you know, the fruit came out in the way you dealt with people. And God, you know, he blessed it.
I want to say something about that too, because I mean, that part of your story really touches my heart, Varney. The fact that you gave people a chance, you know, because I know for myself, you know, sometimes just like, man, if I could just get a chance, you know, if I could just have a chance. And then what about the idea of not even knowing what to do? You know, like there are many people who believe they're not going to be able to get a house, you know, or they're not going to be able to fix their credit, just feel stuck, you know, but to know that, man, there's somebody out there, God will send somebody for you that can help you wherever you are. And what you're trying to accomplish, he will send the right people for you. So you, Varney, you were sent to those people to help them improve the quality of their lives. And how many people know the difference that just the change of your location can make in your whole life, right? And so I think that's really powerful. I really love that you are sharing with us that, you know, finances were interesting, and you're like, you know what, I'm still gonna give a tithe, and I'm gonna do extra. So you talked about the heart, you know, out of it flows, the issues of life, but you were like, man, God, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you to do for me what I can't do. And I'm putting my money out there as a proof that this is how I feel, and I love that you didn't feel pressured, right? Like it wasn't like somebody standing over you, like, you better do that. If you want to be blessed, you better give that offering, and then you're giving it because of pressure, like, oh man, God, he's going to punish me if I don't do this. But it wasn't, it was a cheerful giver. You're a cheerful giver. So that's awesome. But now, so you talked about the mental health piece, and you kind of shared this with us off camera. So I'm just kind of bringing it up, and you go with it however you want. Okay, Varney?
Okay.
You did talk about how, man, okay, just a little rewind. The corporate, it was good, right? But like you talked about being on a trip and having to do stuff. Can you kind of pull
man. Okay. So as we all know, when you're in corporate, there's not much you have control over, right? So as I was telling you guys before we started the show, I remember it had to be my second wedding anniversary. And me and my wife, we went off to Greece. Was in Greece, man, beautiful island. We're out there, time difference and everything. And I specifically remember I only had certain amount of vacation days, but the trip was either 10 days. So I had to use my vacation time that was left. And I also had to use personal time. So how the personal time is structured based on the company that I was with, right? You cannot just say, hey, I'm going to use 5 vacation time. I'm approved for 5 vacation time. And I want to use my other 5 personal days, to simply give me my 10 days that I need. So the 5 vacation time is approved. But with the personal time, you simply have to like call in each day.
Wow.
To use the personal time. So that's what I was like, well, it's personal. I know I'm going to be, out for the next 5 days. So I want to use 5 personal days. So that's not how it was worked. It's like, oh, tracking. I was like, all right, whatever. So now I'm on vacation. So I literally remember waking up like 5 o'clock in the morning every day just to simply call in and say, hey, I'm using a personal day. Hey, I'm using my personal day. And that, and that right there was just simply, I was like, this is ridiculous, right? So now that I transition over to my business, right? And one of the greatest things about me having my own company and my own business, for example, this year, last school year, my daughter had like a field day, right? I didn't have to call in to nobody and say, hey, I'm going to my daughter's field day. Usually, I think my daughter's in kindergarten, I will go into her classroom, read along with her friends. I could pick my kids up early if I wanted. For example, like during summer camp, I would pick my daughter up early and I would say, hey, because one of the goals for the summer was simply to have her learn to ride her bike without training wheels. So I would pick her up early. We'll go to the park. She'll ride her bike. Then from there we'll go to Chick-fil-A. So go to Chick-fil-A, and then from there. So even so that right there in itself is totally worth it for me. Being able to be there for my kids and have these, have that time with them. I'm pretty sure growing up, I'm not sure about you guys' parents, but my parents was always working, right? I can count on one hand how many times my parents came to a sporting event. So those were like the important things for me, making sure that I'm sharing these milestones with my children, being able to do things. And another thing too about having my own business, my family and I, we do a lot of traveling, right? Nice. A lot of traveling. Like this year, we took the kids to Colombia, and in a couple of weeks, me and my wife were going to Carousel for our anniversary. So it's just So it's just one of those things. I wanted to make sure that I build my business based off of things that I like to do and based off of the values of being there for my children and so on and so forth. So so going back to corporate, right? So it was just a lot. It was just a lot of stress that came along with it. Not just simply based off of me calling out. For example, like the position I was in, it started off, you didn't need a license, right? So now it transitioned over to a position where you had to get licensed. So just imagine the stress that came along with it, trying to study for these different exams. If you don't pass it, they let you go. So that can definitely have a major impact on your mental. Now you're thinking like, man, and some of the crazy things that I saw people would do just to make sure that they're, making sure that they're passing these tests. I would see people like literally I would be in the office probably till like 8, 9 o'clock just studying. Right. People will be in these rooms that pretty much just studying, and people will just leave after me. I'm just like, man, but just imagine having that stress that comes with it. I'm not saying that's all corporate. I'm just sharing my experience when I was there.
Man, this is really powerful. Like, I'm so grateful that you're sharing this. This is serious. Like, first, I love what you were saying, like to be able to go in your daughter's classroom and read. Like, I just think about that through the eyes of a child, like she knows daddy's with me. You know what I mean? My daddy's here, and not only that, but you're like a witness to the other children too, it totally breaks a lot of these stereotypes about Black males. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's amazing. And so it's a powerful seed that's being planted as you are able to enjoy those memories with your children. You know what I mean? And they will have that for the rest of their lives, and you're teaching her what kind of man she's going to want, in the future. She's going to have such a high standard based on what you're providing for her. And that cannot be replaced at all, And so I think that's amazing. I know another thing that stood out is that you said, just the stress of having to meet the demands of the job, that's really intense. And a lot of people are living that right now, and they don't know that it doesn't have to be that way. I think we're always like trained that, you have to grind.
Yeah.
Grind. Grinding is responsible. Like grind yourself into the ground. That's responsible, and how are you grinding your life away? And so I love that you're creating a new legacy, for people to hear about that. It doesn't have to be that way. God is real, and he can help work things out in such a way that you can be there for your family, be successful, you know what I mean, and do the things that matter.
And Mia, not to cut you off. I don't want to paint this picture for everyone to think like it was easy.
Okay.
Getting there. So even starting off, I was working more hours in my business than I was when I was at corporate. So until I was able to implement a team, having a team come in, as far as the different things that I was doing, I was able to train my team to be able to do these tasks. So now, like, my main focus is simply just to be out there and simply, nurture the relationships that I have with my affiliate partners or my realtors. The majority of them is realtors. So that simply is my main job right now, simply to nurture those relationships with them and just make sure to keep the business coming in. So I don't want to paint the picture of, leave your 9 to 5 and start a business. And just think it's gonna be easy. Starting off. What I would recommend is make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have a plan. Okay, you want to start from the end and work your way back. Okay, right. So simply with my business, I know my family would like to travel a lot. Right. So I was able to structure everything around that. I knew I wanted to be there for different functions for my kids. So I knew I had to structure my business around that. Right. I knew that I wanted to, for example, me and my wife will, when you have kids, you have to be able to adjust. So now when we go on dates, it's going to be, okay, we want to have to go on dates during lunch. So she just called me last week, like, hey, would you have any calendar for the rest of the day? I was like, I don't. I think I had like two meetings, right? So like, hey, you want to meet me for lunch? And we'll go out for lunch. And I was able to still, run to the car a little bit and just take that meeting. But that's just like that. That's just the benefit of it, having that flexibility where imagine if I was in corporate, you only have like an hour lunch, or you might have maybe hour and a half, but you just don't have that flexibility if you're in corporate. But again, just make sure that you do have a plan. Make sure you have a plan, and make sure you structure whatever you decide you're going to do based off of your lifestyle, different things that you like to do.
Man, that's really good, Varney, because there are new entrepreneurs that are going to watch this show or that may be watching right now. And that's really powerful. You said have a plan. Don't just think that you can jump out of your 9 to 5 and boom, you're off to Greece, right? You're off to your nice, right? Carousel is actually where you're headed
Yeah.
now. But man, that's awesome. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit more about that? Like, so what did those early days look like when you and how was it when you decided like, hey, here's my resignation, where people are like, okay, good riddance, or, like, did you face any backlash of that? Like juggling the your economics, right? Like now I no
Yeah.
longer am depending on this. Like, how did that go?
Did you think about turning back when you saw how much time you were putting into starting your own business?
Great. No. So great questions. So let's start with the transition, right? So once I resigned, it was just one of those things I just knew I had to figure it out, right? Because again, based off of everything with my family and based off of my wife's position, I knew every 2 years, we're going to have to move. So it's not, so to answer your question, Victor, it was one of those things that I pretty much knew I had to figure it out. So it was like no turning back with that. What was that a question me? I'm sorry.
Just did you get any backlash like once you turn in your resignation?
No, I did not. I think a lot of individuals reached out to me like, hey, what's going on? I think it was more people just being nosy.
Okay.
So yeah, hey, what's going on? What are you gonna be doing? Da, da, da. So it was just one of those things. But even the relationships that I had with those, in corporate, I still have the relationships with them. And even, I connect with them on LinkedIn. They have my telephone number. They'll reach out to me. A lot of us are friends on social media. So I didn't catch any backlash. It was just more people just concerned.
Right, got you. We're concerned about you. So what about the economics though? Because like now you have a consistent paycheck you can count on, and now you're creating your paycheck. Now I know you say your wife's in the military. Do you mind to kind of talk about how that in the early days of your transition, how did y'all work that out?
Yeah, so starting off, definitely had to tap into savings, whatever. But I was definitely able to hit the ground running. Once I resigned, I pretty much knew, okay, I have to turn this thing into a business, right? So then no more free clients. No more free clients. So I was fortunate enough to be able to get everything up and running within, I want to say about 6 months. I was able to register the business, get that going, get my website, and I was able to get my real estate license. So that helped me out tremendously. I was able to get my real estate license all within that 6 months time frame. And then from there, I was able to, probably a couple of months after that, I was able to close a couple of transactions. So everything worked out. And again, it's simply just favor. Because that's unheard of. Most people take a while simply just trying to, put all these pieces together.
Okay, so now Varney, we're getting close to the end of our show. So I have a hard question for you. This is a hard one, Varney, all right?
Yeah, what you got?
This is pain unwasted. Okay, so there's pain, but it doesn't get wasted. And so I want to know, like you're a high performing entrepreneur. Your wife is a high performing professional. You guys are a power team. Like now, how do you continue to protect you all's like your mental health, your equilibrium? Like what do you all do for fun to like make sure that everything is smooth?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
I know.
You caught me off guard with that one. I was like, whoa, that wasn't in the email.
Sorry.
No, so for the most part, and great question, man. For the most part, is all about working together, right? The ultimate goal here. My wife has 3 more years before she retires, so everything that right there is what you call it, the mission. We have to get there. So everything will revolve around that mission, right? So again, it comes down to us communicating. Okay, these are things that we have to do, and us as men, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes we're hard headed, and when it comes down to certain things. So I just think it comes down to simply having a plan, right? Yeah. Simply having a plan, and just make sure that you're sticking to that plan, and making sure that whatever the end goal is, that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do to be able to get to that end goal.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered that for you.
You did. And when I think about it, you've kind of been sharing with us too already, like what you all do. Like, so you talked about y'all take trips, you know what I'm saying? And you also talked about, you make sure that you spend time with your kids. These are all a part of equilibrium and balance. And so absolutely. And the way you're able to do that, you told us also, was that you have that plan beginning with the end in mind. What do you want? Right. And that's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, which you are, and so that's really, really good. So Varney, just tell us, no more gut punches.
So I definitely, I want to add on to, the gut punch, but I would add on to that. So simply having a plan, and just being flexible. For example, like me and my wife, we do a lot of dates during the day, right? A lot of dates during the day. So most people say, oh, well, I have kids, we don't have time to do that. But it's just simply just making sure that you guys are working together to make sure that you guys are getting to that goal. So for example, like when the kids have to go to a doctor's appointment, whoever is available will be able to take them. And if someone have a meeting and I'm supposed to pick up the kids, my wife would jump in and say, hey, you know what, you have this meeting, I'll go ahead and pick up the kids, or I'll go ahead and take them to swimming or whatever. So it's simply just being able to work together, and everybody putting in 100%.
Wow, that's powerful. It's the teamwork. Teamwork. That's good. That's good. So do you have any final words you would say for people who are looking on and they're like, man, I want to, can he really help me with my credit? Can this really be for me? I know you did it for others, but you don't know my case. Mine's like really bad.
My credit score is 0.
You said what?
No, I'm saying something about thinking their credit score is like a 0 or something like that.
Yeah. No. So I would definitely recommend anybody that's on the fence about it, or even thinking like, hey, where should I start? I actually put together this academy. It has everything in there. And that's another thing too. A lot of people just think like, hey, credit repair is just expensive. It credit repair will cost. So the whole point of me putting together this academy, again, you have people that simply say, hey, I can do this myself. So within the academy, you have access to all my letters that I use. You have different video modules that will show you how to read your credit report. You have access to there's a module in there on how to build business credit, how to handle student loans, how to handle repossession. So everything is in there. It's 14 modules, right?
Wow.
And all you have to do is simply go through there, and it's what I charge for that is $25 a month. So it's very, very affordable.
Absolutely.
You can go in there and just simply just fix your own credit. Go ahead and send out your own letters, and it takes you through everything step by step.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Like 25, I thought you were gonna say but that's really, really great. Like, I mean, there's just basically no excuse. If you're watching this, or somebody that's trying to get a house, they're trying to get a vehicle, they're trying to improve their education, and they're like, man, I just don't have the money. Like, it's just too much. Varney just dropped a sweet deal. Like, we can find $25. We can find $25 a month. And this now you'll be able to get yourself to a place where you can go ahead and get the things that you want, the things that you deserve. Right. Exactly. And what I love about this program is high quality. Like this is a tested method that he has. And so, I mean, that's really great. I mean, I love that you have an academy. I think it's amazing. You have so much to offer. You've offered us our lives have been changed just from working with you and being affiliated with the people that you're affiliated with. It's been really a blessing. So you have to reach out to Varney. Victor, can you please pull up for the audience so that they can see, like, okay, I know you have on here Total Structured Solutions.
Yeah.
So that if you're wanting to reach Varney,
Yes.
Varney, say,
Yeah, so Total Structure Solutions is not the academy, but
okay,
they can go on there and just schedule a call with me, right?
got you.
Once they schedule a call with me, then from there we can go over their goals and we can go ahead and get them access to the academy.
Oh, good, very good, awesome. Well, we're gonna pull up your slide in just a second, but is there any final words you want to share with our audience today?
Final words. If you have a business, just or an idea of a business, just go ahead and start it. Don't try to make sure it's perfect. Just it would be best that you simply be able to go ahead and start the process, because you definitely don't want to look back 2 or 3 years from now and simply saying like, man, I wish I would have started it. So my final words: if you have a business idea or you have a business, go ahead and get that information out there. Go ahead and get in front of your audience.
Good.
Great.
That's awesome.
And we have Varney's contact info on the screen. Total Structured Solutions, totalstructuredsolutions.com. You can also reach him at Varney@totalstructuredsolutions.com. You can also find Structured Credit Solutions on Facebook, and you'll see Varney, his business page with a lot of tips and tools right there on the page, little video clips and things that you can use to help boost your credit. But definitely reach out to him through the website so you can get to be part of the Structure Academy. Am I saying that right, Varney?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So they can simply go on the website, schedule a call, and even I'm even going to throw this out there for your audience, Victor. If they want to send me a friend request on my personal page, I'm always giving a lot of information on there too. They can simply just search me, Varney Jallah, and that I'm pretty sure there's not too many Varney Jallahs out there, but they can send me a friend request or send me a message on there, and then that way I can connect with them as well.
That's great.
Awesome.
So when you do reach out to Varney, just mention that you saw this interview on the Business Heroes podcast, and that will help our channeling as well. So just check that out. And man, like Varney, we're really glad to have you on here. Thank you so much for all that you shared today.
Yes.
I don't know if you had any final.
No, I'm just excited. I'm like, man, one day we got to have your wife on here with you.
Oh man, yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope.
Yes. Yeah. We're gonna be doing a Black Love series, and so we gotta have y'all on there. So anyway, we'll talk more about that love and business. Yes, love and business. So awesome. But thank you for what you're doing.
Yes.
And so for those of you who've been watching, this is the Business Heroes podcast with Victor and Mia, and we pursue profit, passion, and
purpose.
Thank you. Purpose.
Word of the day.
The purpose. You're right. Our word of the day, so that we can affect the world for good. And please stay tuned to next week when we have another amazing hero come on here. And man, I told you Varney was cool, y'all. I told you, right? When we started our show, we talked about, do you know anybody that is highly accomplished, very successful, and yet down to earth and willing to help you out? That was Varney. And so if you were just now tuning in, you've got to go back and look at the beginning of the show. It is good. It was amazing. And thank you, Varney, for being on here. So we'll see you again next week.
Yes, we will. You all take care, and y'all have a blessed day.